Hey, I'm going to be going over my projects and how they're doing. I just kind of wanted to do a bit of a video on how it's all going, all of my goals, because I have so many things that I'm working on, and I do tend to jump around on them a lot, just because it's kind of the only way I can do it, because I'll get fatigued by one project and then I'll be like, oh God, I can't look at this anymore. Like, I'll get it to a certain point where I'm like, okay, like maybe like I've thought of everything I possibly could for the outline of what's going to happen in the narrative, and all the characters, who they are, what their goals are, what the point of the story is. And then I'll be like, okay, I need a break from that. And then I'll try and work on a different project. And of course, there's all the while doing life stuff, making sure I'm being healthy and doing exercise and seeing other human beings instead of being all alone in a room by myself, which is what, like sometimes I'll write like that. Hell, it really depends on what my energy levels are, because, like, for example, this morning I was like, okay, I really want to do some writing, but I was just absolutely wrecked. Like, I don't know, I just have weird energy issues. I might have to get a blood test soon. But yeah, so I was like, I'll have a rest, and I was resting, and while I was just laying in the darkness, like, I was forcing myself to think about the project that I'm working on right now, which is Ghoul's Gold Rush, which is supposed to be like a really fun story, which is not too, like, I don't know, social commentary kind of thing like Pyro was. So I felt like I was working extra hard when I was writing that one, because I was like, I don't know, there was a lot of different characters to juggle. I mean, there always is, but I also was, because the characters are really, like, some of them were really, like, I guess, challenging people to write. And but that's just how they were, right? So I had to do them how they were. I had to write them as they are supposed to be, right? You just kind of know what they're meant to be like while you're making it. But anyway, so with this project, because it's more cutesy, it's more for kids, really. It's still dark fantasy and it has some adult themes, but I know not to, like, go too hard with any of the with how, like, pushing it into, like, I know, being too sexual or too violent, so you just kind of mellow it out, but you still get some the intense like moments of like possession, or like when a character really wants something and they're doing anything just to get it, like, intense feelings, without being too violent. Or it's when there is violence, it's more like magical, in this particular story. But yeah, so I pushed through and I wrote like a teeny tiny little extra segment. I was like considering adding a character, so I did that in a separate part of the Google Doc that I'm writing it in. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little video to talk about how everything is progressing, because yeah, I have like a number of open projects, but there are some that are close to completion, and yeah, so I'll just whip my little laptop out here, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody will watch this, but it's more for my gathering of my thoughts of how everything is going, and to map my progress a little bit. But yeah, I got a lot of things on this year that I'm planning, and it's just, I always have this running in the back of my head, like all of these things that I want to finish. And then, you know, once they're finished, I would like to try and submit them to publishers. Like there's a couple of different publishers I think might be interested in my work. Some that are WA based, and then it would be really cool to be published by a publisher in New York, but I feel like that's probably not that easy to do. But I should probably start from where I'm from. I kind of feel like it kind of makes sense, right? And also I kind of, especially with Ghoul's Gold Rush, right, which is a magical little story about a skeleton man, and it's set in the Gold Rush era of WA, and there is a woman she's a young woman who works for a fishery Frigo Fishing Co., which is her family run business. And all day she just like guts fish and it's not that glamorous a job, but she's really good at singing, but her family kind of just dismisses her talents, right? Yeah. And then she is delivering fish one day, and at the very end of her delivery she finds this like mystical kangaroo spirit and then follows it, and then there's this big colonial like structure which is kind of like a hotel slash pub, and it's filled with fun dead people or characters who she meets, and then like the plot thickens. But yeah, so that's been really fun writing that one. And it was fun figuring out the outline, like it always is, because for me the outline is like finding all the characters, finding the story, like what's this about, what's like the big drama that's going to happen in the narrative, but and like how is it going to finish, and because it's more aimed for kids, it's going to be like happy ending. Or actually, it's a little bit sad. It is. It's a little bit sad, but it's happy. It's happy in my opinion because the characters get to end up together. But because it's a little bit romantic. It's very much inspired by like The Corpse Bride by Tim Burton. And then also, I'm getting a call. That's weird. I'll just ignore that. Anyways, yeah, yep. So Corpse Bride and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, because I love that stuff. Growing up, it's just so pretty, isn't it? Like the stop motion animation, so whimsical, and Jack is very dapper, so I kind of almost made my own version of him. And the characters, they are derived from a very like I used to sketch them in my sketchbooks when I was in high school. So and I never actually, or like for the many years, I had no real story for them. I just liked the aesthetic, I guess. And I could kind of tell that these two characters were in love or whatever. But now, you know, I was like, okay, I need to set aside some time to like figure them out. Like, who were they? What time were they from? Like, originally they had nothing to do with the Gold Rush era, but I added that in because I was like, I want that story to be embedded in WA, so I can try and make it more interesting for myself. Because my mind as a kid was always going outward and wondering about other parts of the world, which I think is pretty normal actually. That's just like normal curiosity of a child, right? But yeah, no matter where you're from, based off of all the people I've talked to now in different countries and whatnot, there's always that feeling of like, what would it have been like living and growing up in another country, in this like one that looks really beautiful or whatever. Like I became a little bit obsessed with Norway at some point. And you know, there's sorts of Nordic countries where they have like the fjords and like it looks whimsical, like dragons could be living there. So yeah, very fantasy looking places, and New Zealand is also a bit like that, which is really cool. I visited there when I was in my teens, and yeah, so I was always just looking outward, and but that's very normal, truly. Like, yeah. So, and then I did get to live in some other places, which was they were all quite New York was quite interesting. I do love New York. It's very arty, but there's also a lot of problems. But anyways, back to my projects, right? Yeah, Gold Rush, bam. Tried to base it in WA. It is based there, and so I got the beginning, the middle, and the end, and now I'm writing out the prose, and that is the shit that gets me, because it's just so like, it's like extract from my soul what all these characters would do or be like. But it's good because, you know, I did the work in the outline to and I have all these notes and everyone's names written down in certain sections of the book, so it just helps me to you know, oh, I forgot a character's name, just go quick check the legend of characters because it helps to just spark your memory again. I have an awful memory, so this is like a way for me to trigger the brain and get back on track. But yeah, I got my little word from the author, and then the cast. Yes, I'm just gonna hold it up because I can't be bothered editing it in Premiere. I do know how to use all that, and but I just want to hold this screen up. But anyways, even if it shows backwards, yes, just cast list names. Who are they? It's actually there's a book, Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I think they do that as well in the beginning, and I like that convention, so I took, well, I don't know if that's what you call it, that format, and I wanted to do it for all of my books moving forward, because then it's easy for me as a writer to just check back. And then I also did that for the settings, like the Frigo Fishing Co., the Petrovic family's family-run fishing company in a port town, which is meant to be a bit like Fremantle, but I don't want it to be so like 100% accurate. It's still like kind of like a mystical or magical fantasy version of WA, where everything's a lot closer together or that you could get to everywhere a lot more easily, and all of the interesting looking places that we do have in WA, that some of these locations are inspired by. Yeah, because truly everything is just like a 3-hour drive, or yeah, just a couple of hours at least away from each other, all these interesting places. Like, I don't know, we got the caves down south. Once you're down south, there's a bunch of cool things to see and do. But yeah, then like the pinnacles, that's like I'm thinking about like interesting land and ocean views and aesthetic places that would look nice in your brain, or also if you're looking at it with your eyes. Yeah, so I try to think of beautiful places to put in the story as well, or things that are going to look cool, especially scenes that are going to be cool. Like I like this morning when I was thinking about this story and I wanted to add something, I was literally scrolling through Instagram or Facebook maybe, and there was a little blurb about a post from some random meme page about a crystal that grows on skulls, and then I was like, oh, that would be cool to like put in this, because it kind of matches the theme. There's lots of the dead you know, characters in the story, and I was thinking, I was already considering adding like a doctor character for one of the other characters to go to and ask for advice on or for a favor. Yeah, so then that kind of, I like built on that, and then I wrote a little separate section that I might insert at some point. But yeah, so I have that in like a different tab in my document that I can just, click it, and then it's like just about that. And also, so right now, as I'm moving through the outline and just reading, it's like a process of reading what's happening. Okay, because the outline tells me what is happening here, and then I have to write it in a way that is like the prose, like how the reader is going to consume it. The outline for me is kind of like my rationale is also included in there for like everyone's behavior and actions. But yeah, and then it becomes more about like making it interesting to read, like making sure that I'm revealing things and writing things in the correct order that they should be, to give it like a good flow. And sometimes when I'm really stuck, I'll literally just pretend I'm the character and just like, I'll use voice typing sometimes and just put that on and like speak out what I want them to say, and then later go back, and I do use ChatGPT. Okay, don't get shitty with me, but I know some people just go absolutely like crazy if you tell them that, but I think it's good for like, I'll just like get it to add the formatting for me, and like, make sure that my grammar is correct, make sure, I don't know, I should know this, but it just helps me to speed it up. Like I can do it myself, but sometimes the brain energy is like so I do it, so it just saves me that little slither, because I don't know why, but it's like, I know this is something I want to do. I know I want to write the book and have it finished, like a nice little neat finished thing where all the characters, they live in there. But I just, the energy levels, like nothing saps my energy like when I try to write things, because it's there's so much thinking involved. You have to hold so many different things in your head, like where are we, what's the scene, what's happening in the background, what am I getting the reader to focus on. Like even with the outline, you still have to reread the outline and get refreshed on what's happening, and then get into the head zone of that character and be like, ooh, I'm writing from the perspective of Archibald. Oh, look at this pretty little thing here. I better take care of her, like just finding the attitude, and that's gonna like, the things they say, it comes out in the way that they're feeling at that time about who they're talking to and all that. So it's like a lot to hold in the brain, but yeah, in one hit. So I think I average about, like, if I really push myself, like, it's not great, like 2 pages. I did that the other day. I was like sitting there and I was like looking at the outline and I was like reading it, and then writing and adding things as well, because sometimes I'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be good if like I added this to that scene, like just this little extra thing that I want to add. But then again, when you do something like that, you also have to like make sure it's coherent, makes sense. So it's a lot of brain power it uses. But yeah, I'm just thinking. But yeah, this project, how many pages? I find it helpful to put it in the format that it's gonna be in. Like, I think I have my Google Docs set to about 6x9, the page size, because that's the standard print book size that you will get your book printed at. But I will be self-publishing as a with Kindle direct publishing first, just so it's easy to share with people. and get it out there, and then also trying to send the manuscript to somewhere like maybe UWA Publishing, or even Fremantle Press might appreciate this particular story. And then I have the thing is with Pyro is that one is really, you know what, I kept it a lot more tame than it could have been, honestly, but I could have made it way more insane, but I like reeled it in. That one, I'm not sure who to send that one to, but I'm just glad it's done. These other stories are like a breeze compared to that one. Anyways, but yeah, so I got a bit of a plan, but you know, first you got to actually write the manuscript, get it going, get it seen by some person in the publishing industry who may or may not like it. But yeah, it's daunting, but I wish to map the progress of how it all goes, because wouldn't it be lovely if it was actually a lot more easier than I thought it was going to be? Probably not. I've heard these things can take years, but you know, it's still good to try. Give it a go. Get in there, give it a crack, as they say in Australia. But yeah. Ooh, and also this one has songs in it. But I don't know, they need a lot more work. I'll be adding them in as I go. It's like, even in the outline, sometimes I'm like, I don't write the song unless I have a bit of an idea. Like I might write a couple of, you know, little verses and think of a melody in my head. But like Pyro has some songs in it. There's a couple of songs in there when there's Influencer Odyssey, the game with the influencers that they play for increasing their social media followings and whatnot. But yeah, but that again, it's like a process. In the outline, I might just put like a little placeholder. Like I know I want there to be a song here that the characters sing, and of course, you know, I don't need to let them. I'm not going to write it out in notes. I don't know how to do that. I'm not that skilled in music, although I have like a teeny tiny bit of knowledge about it. But yeah, I just I leave notes in the outline wherever I'm like, I just can't add more right now. I just put a bit of a note there, because it's like I kind of know there's gotta be something here. Like there's gotta be a certain type of scene, like this things should get softer here or whatever, or there should be like a fight here, and yeah, I'll add the details of it all later. But yeah, so I just wanted to speak more broadly about Ghoul's Gold Rush for now. I guess I didn't want to give too much away about what happens in the story, but yeah, so let's see. The other thing I have my little document here. I call it Shelsky Production Pipeline because I'm very professional. Not really, but it's just a way for me to keep track of all these different concepts that I have. I just do whatever I have to do to get a little bit done. I like chip away at everything, however I can. Like for example, like when I'm having these huge energy dips, which who knows might be some serious issue that I haven't faced yet. But I mean, it only ever happens when I'm trying to concentrate really hard on something, which is probably not that weird, you know, it's probably normal, right? But yeah, I like even now I'm starting to struggle. Yeah. Yeah, I will do anything it takes. I will if I'm slumping, I'll just write a little bit I will use the voice typing tool, or sometimes I'll like type with my hands. Sometimes I need to be in a different environment, like the other day I went to write in a book cafe here in Singapore, and that really helped me focus for some reason. Sometimes I'm too tired, so I have to just, you know, have a rest at home kind of thing, and then try and push through and do a bit more. But yeah, so and whether the book is really great or not at the end, to people, their opinions, like that's cool, that's really cool if they like it, but for me, I'm just like, my god, I did it I can't believe I did it. So yeah, that's the feeling I'm trying to get. But it does take a lot to actually do it. And yeah, I find it useful to just take a moment like this and just, you know, take a look at the whole schedule of what I'm working on, because it just helps me clarify in my brain this side of myself, or this collection of goals that I'm trying to achieve. Yeah. And yeah, because I just have so many projects. So Pyro is done, part 1 and part 2. I have one called The Stag. I've got a lot of ideas, right? But you've always got your certain ideas that are going to be the winners, who knows why, you just like them more than the others, and they succeed in becoming completed. I mean, ideally it would be great to finish them all one day, but it's funny. I mean, I'm just doing it the way I can. With Pyro, I really had to be like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not thinking about anything else. Like, I'll get to a point with a project where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to think about this. I'm just going to do this. And this is what I'm focusing on. So that's what I'm like right now with Ghoul's Gold Rush. Although I did do a little bit of work on Blue. I did the book cover. Because that project, Blue, which was originally going to be a graphic novel, it started as a series of random comics, and then it turned into like a bit of a story, and now it's going to be a graphic novel and a book. And I was like, you know what, doing the book won't take me that long compared to drawing all of the scenes. And so it took me still maybe 2 months to convert what I had done already as illustrated comic book sequential art into written word. But you know, it's a lot easier because all I have to do is describe what I'm seeing, and then format it into the format of a prose fiction novel, and just transfer all of the dialogue that's said, all of the actions that are taken, and then fill in the gaps kind of thing. And I actually ended up adding a little bit more, and I was like trying to stop myself from doing that too much, because I know that if I do want to then finish the graphic novel one day, you know, I might want to keep it consistent. So I was trying to keep myself from writing anything too visually elaborate, whatever, that I thought might be difficult to translate into visual. But look, both things take a long time. Writing, drawing, they're just a different way of consuming the story. And I do love visuals a lot, but I think definitely writing is a quicker way to capture your ideas. Once you can do it, I guess. You have to learn how to write. But, you know, there's different qualities of writing. You can just like describe what you see and then you work it, and then, yeah, that's how you make it better, I guess. But, yeah, that's another thing I like about writing is like, it's a lot more easy to edit compared to an illustration, you know. Yeah. Once something is drawn, it's like, oh, you know, some change you want to make, like you want to change the way a character looks, then you have to go back through every panel you've ever drawn and then change it. I mean, that's the same with writing, I guess. It's just quicker, I'm telling you. Writing is quicker in most ways compared to drawing. And also with drawings, I guess it depends on how much detail you go into, you want to add, or your style, how you do it. But yeah, I just like writing because it's a really easy way for me to get the idea down and then arrange it, rearrange things, add things in, delete things, think about it. Yeah. So that's what I think about all this. I've got, yeah, so Blue, the novel version, it needs one more read through the prose. It's been written. I just need to read through it and do those little refinements, like, just adding a little bit more to the, like, things that the characters say to each other, just to make it maybe a little bit more interesting, or make it make more sense, or maybe add more description to the location that they're in if I feel like it's lacking. So these sorts of touch-ups, I'm in the touch-up stage for that. I've got a book cover, which is great, so it just needs to go online, or like I just need to upload it. I mean, I could do it now, you know, but I'm like, I know I need to do a quality control check, just to see if there's anything that I've seriously screwed up somehow, you know. Because yeah, like in every other stage of thinking about it and creating it, there's so much going on in the head. So this is just like, now all you have to do is read it, and you know, you can add little bits here and there, and then chill, and it's done, and you leave it alone. And then you have to market it, which is the most hardest part. Or no, it's not. I know it's all hard. It all takes a lot of energy. But you know, I just want to do it, so so I gotta do it. Sometimes if you want something done, you gotta do it yourself. Not even sometimes, every time. Whenever you want to get something done, nobody's gonna do it except for you, especially if it's like an artistic thing. But yeah, so all right, I think I can stop here. I was gonna talk about my other projects, or like Commander Boggles, like that one's got a lot of thinking, like I need to think about that one a lot. That's another one I wanted to base in WA. And then also Adeline's Iliad. I do really like Adeline's Iliad, but it's a little dark. So sometimes, you know, when I write a dark story, I'm like, I need a little bit of a break from this. It's just so, because I know what I was thinking about when I wrote that, like some issue happening in society that you can't talk about, right? So, but then you just dress it up with art and like metaphor, whatever, and leave it to other people to see what do they think this is about. Because I know what it's about, but I'm not gonna tell anybody. But yeah, yeah, yep. As you can, yeah, I jump around a lot. And then, I even started a short film. But, you know, the cameraman got hit by a car, so maybe it wasn't meant to be. But we might try again later in the year. But yeah, I find it good to have lots of different things going on, because when I just can't get myself to work on one of them anymore, then I can jump onto a different one that I'm feeling more, you know. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, as I said, you do get to the point where you gotta force yourself, like, no, you have these characters most predominantly in your head right now. Like right now, Archibald, the tall skeleton bartender man, and Evangeline Petrovic, the fisherman's daughter, is in my head, and Brian Blackwood, and the seamstress Carol. So that, all these little characters, they are most in my head right now because I've been working on that project. So I know that if I was to jump onto something else now and start filling my head with these other characters, I would get overwhelmed because I've been there before, like with doing that kind of thing. So mostly I know I need to think about that project and just try and push through and write it. And then probably once that one's done, which could take me like a couple of months, honestly, in between doing live stuff, right? And then I can probably jump back onto Blue and do my final read and then just upload. So, yeah. So it kind of like, I'll get some getting really close to the end, and then I get excited and like pumped up to get it done. And then after Blue's done, I think I can jump onto Adeline's Iliad again. Because that's Blue. They're all a little dark, actually. But that's it. I don't know. I find that stuff a little bit interesting, But yeah, Adeline's Iliad is maybe young adult there is a little bit of sauciness in there. I don't know. It's like Adult Swim audience, maybe, but whatever. It's hard to find that in Australia. Maybe I haven't been looking hard enough, but like, yeah, it's gonna be that kind of vibe, or yeah. And then I like to draw the pictures because the picky tours are fun. I like to illustrate. That's like my favorite thing to do. So occasionally I'll just like draw a cool little drawing of the characters, and then that also helps me remember them and the story and what's supposed to be happening in the story. So I am allowed to illustrate the characters from Ghoul's Gold Rush because I'm working on that currently and they're in my brain, and yeah, so everything else is kind of just hovering there in the background for now. Like there's also the Kissels in the Kingdom, which is another Australian themed, but that's supposed to be really like kiddie based, like for little kids, like more fable. There's still a little bit of like, ooh, like evil pixie fairies that like want to snip parts of you. You gotta keep away from them. And I don't know, some like spookiness in there, but that's what makes it fun. You have to escape and evade the evil things on your journey, because it's kind of like a Hansel and Gretel type story, and there's like this big marsupial mama. There is always like at least one character in my novels that is kind of like me. that is basically me. But not really. But yeah, like that, I like the big marsupial because I had my hair cut like short like this once, and it felt like ears. So yeah, and that's kind of like what the character looks like in my head. And I also have a illustration of that character. But yeah, so I've got a lot of ideas. I just gotta finish them. But I finished one of them, so that's better than nothing. And actually, I have self-published other, like, actual physical books before, so I guess I should count that as well. That's something. But it would be nice to get some professional recognition one day from, like, a reputable place. But otherwise, I guess I'll just keep self-publishing. Yeah. It would be good to just get all of this done before I die. So I got some time. But I just want it to be complete. That is my goal, to complete these things. And I mean, I got a lot of other things that run through my head. But right now, I'm only allowed to think about Ghoul's Gold Rush and wedding planning. Oh my god. So there's a lot of stuff going on in my head, and then, yeah, I just gotta compartmentalize and get them all done. All right, well, that's 40 minutes. Shit. Okay. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go to the cafe and I'm gonna write. I am. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to write. I will do it. I will not procrastinate. I will focus on the story and the characters and I'll get it done. Okay. Good luck if you are trying to make anything as well. Bye.